Hello everyone. Our topic is about the current situation of China's children's sex education. But first, I want to pose a question. Would you guys think a joke about raping is funny? Actually, the joke does exist, and it's erroneous. Some netizens crack a joke about young girls being raped due to the lack of correct gender values. The joke is 3 years is considerably profitable, then death penalty has no loss, which is for the penalty of rape in China. Reflecting on this joke, I believe most of you may find it hard to accept, like us. Countless women's tragedies and nightmares are becoming a joke in our daily gossip. The real life case of rape about young children are sexually abused. We have to reflect on whether Chinese sex education is missing in the process of children growing up, and we will present our own views through our analysis. Well, debating on the direction of our research, we will chat by Ma Debiao's Flashlight Available, a collection of visual artwork on school grounds. Ma used the fluorescent paint to hide the sexual organs, contents, and sexual intercourse on his paintings, availing the potential for passing manager to remove his work because of the sexual message. Also, it suggests the viewer that sex education for children in China is still superficial and limited. As a child growing up in an environment in which parents refuse to talk about sexual matters, Ma, like most of us, had access to sex related information only through pop up windows on the computer, but was always confused. Now, even so he has been able to show sex related drawings in a straightforward way, his traditional family background still prompts him to say, "But as for discussing it with my parents, I still feel awkward and dare not tell anybody." Let's back to the phrase. 3 years to start with the death penalty is not a loss. During our preliminary investigation, it comes from Chinese criminal law regarding the rape of young girls and refers to the acts of sexual relationship with girls under 18 years old. If the circumstances of the crime are ordinary, the punishment is heavier, within the range of 3 years to 10 years of fixed term imprisonment. If the circumstances of the crime are serious, the punishment is 10 years or more of fixed term imprisonment and life imprisonment or the death penalty. The phrase, the phrase, the phrase is created from it. Similarly, flattish tone, but in fact contain erotic innuendo and personal insult. This kind of coarse remarks reflecting the friends around not from the sex education to establish a good sexual values. It's behind its parents, teachers, and another guise of ineffective or lack of sex education. Although these people are at the stage of paying lip service at the moment, once their acceptance of such behavior grows, perhaps the idea of committing a crime will take root and grow, eventually leading to committing aggression against others. These things make us strongly aware of how important sex education is for a child. So, my partner will show us what did we do in the research.
Okay, so, well, in the process of the research, we mainly use the methods of interview, secondary data, and observations. We believe that many of us have been troubled by the issues of sexual education. So, we interviewed the classmates from many schools. We found that there were many other examples like the Mother Bell, and we demonstrate our arguments by observing their thoughts, ways to obtain the relevant knowledge, attitudes toward the sexual education, and so on. When it comes to the development of the courses in sexual education, we first conducted interviews with school officials. Then, we have to collect the information on relevant laws and regulations and compare the requirements with what schools are doing right now. In addition, we also collect secondary data such as news and investigative reports because most of the secondary data comes from the authoritative institutions, so we can better assist our argumentation through them. Through the above the report, we have seen the lack of sexual education in China. By interviewing different people, we can get the different perspectives. We found that from the views of the peers, many parents do not provide guidance or explanations for their children's sexual education, and they were inclined to avoid such topics. From interviews with the educators, we can see that the schools are increasing the emphasis on the sexual education. Secondary data also shows that up to 72.92% of the parents have never fruitfully uh, discussed sexual intercourse, genital knowledge, or different sexual orientations with their children. However, due to the limitations or traditions and the culture, this requires a long process. So now, let's welcome the next partner to give us the presentations.
Admittedly, Chinese students require more comprehensive sex education measures than they are receiving right now. The director of the Education Bureau of Li's Jiang City has said at least 1 hour a week should be devoted to sex education and physical health classes. Fortunately, we did see relevant courses in schools. But in general, we hope that Chinese students can better understand the importance of sex education. Sex education is not only about the knowledge of human reproduction and mating, but also about interpretation of different genders and the guidance of adolescent growth and development. This content is extremely important for the growth of young people. As Li Liangcai, one of our interviewers, mentioned, the purpose of sex education is to bring about a change in awareness among adolescents. This will be a long process, and we hope it will become better in the future. So that's what we observe throughout the research. Sex education in China still faces many problems, such as narrow definitions and lack of parental support. We hope that sex education in China will gradually become a mandatory part of development for all Chinese children. Parents and schools need to teach children how to protect themselves and how to treat people who are different from their biological sex, both of which are equally important. How the male and female bodies develop should not be the only topic of discussion for teenagers. Menstrual shame and contraception should all be discussed. Finally, we hope that one day we can usher in a time when everyone is educated about sexuality and where abortion controversy, menstrual shame, and gender stereotyping may no longer exist. This is the end of our speech. Thank you.